And I know this is going to get Stephen A. riled up a little tiny bit, but why do we not have Spence Crawford in boxing right now? Why is that fight not taking place right now?
You know, it's
Seriously.
interesting. Terry, I got a call a few weeks ago, and some guys were trying to explain to me what happened. And because they had, a couple of promoters, I'm not going to mention their names, but they had a problem with the fact that, I was calling out promoters. And I said, listen, it's the truth. The fact of the matter is that until you show me a fighter that's running from another fighter, I'm going to look at the promoters because y'all are holding the sports hostage. I said, this is why I've raved about Dana White for the UFC all the time. I don't get into a lot of stuff, and I don't get into a lot of stuff that a lot of people get into, but I will tell you this. Dana White gives the UFC fans the fights they want to see when they want to see it. He's not making them wait 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You want to see this fight? You willing to pay to see this fight? I'm going to give it to you right now. And I really, really think that boxing needs a figure like that overseeing the sport, because we've gotten to a point, guys, where if you got one loss or two losses, somebody thinks your career is over. That makes no sense. I mean, I grew up in the age
not
of
in the UFC, Stephen. Not in the UFC.
Not in the UFC. I'm talking about boxing. I mean, you got to. I grew up watching Ali, Foreman, Frazier, Ernie, Shavers. I mean, Lord have mercy. The list, Ron Lyle, the list goes on and on. I grew up watching these guys. I mean, I'm looking at Sugar Ray, Roberto Duran, Tommy the Hitman Hearns. I remember Pepino Cuevas when he got knocked out by Hitman Hearns and stuff like that. Yeah. The marvelous Marvin Hagler. The list goes on and on. And I'm watching.
Pernell Whitaker, don't forget Sweet Pea.
Let me get Sweet Pea, one of the greatest ever. God rest his soul. The Felix Trinidads of the world. And the Oscar De La Hoya, the list goes on. And you have to give people the fights when they want to see it. We're not getting that from boxing. And this is the latest example. There is no reason on earth why Errol Spence and Terence Crawford have not signed on the dotted line to fight as of yet. I was very proud because I had Ryan Garcia's team reach out. And they said he signed on the dotted line. He and Gervonta Davis are going to fight in April. They came on First Take. They confirmed it. I called Gervonta Davis side. They're like, we're doing this. This fight is happening, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, that is a fight people want to see. They've been talking smack to one another for the longest. They're in the same weight class. Let's make it happen.
Who wins that fight, Steven?
Supposed to be. You know what, Ken? I got to tell you, I don't know. Here's what I think. Tank can take a punch. I'm not sure he needs to take an abundance of punches from Ryan Garcia. With the quickness and the speed, I'm not sure. But I do know this. I saw Ryan Garcia get dropped. And if he gets dropped like that against Gervonta Davis, he's not surviving. Nobody is surviving after Gervonta Davis catches you, after Tank Davis catches you. He's the lightweight Mike Tyson as far as I'm concerned.
Punches are born. Punches, as I always say, Stephen A. Punches are born. They're not made. And
That's right.
And Gervonta was born to punch.
You're absolutely correct. And I'll tell you this. Only thing I would say to him, I forgot, who's the miniature dude, Isaac, that he fought? Pitbull.
Cruz.
Yeah.
Pitbull, Isaac Cruz. Let me tell you what I loved about the Isaac Cruz fight. Isaac Cruz is not spectacular, but he's good. He's very good defensively. He's got power. He stalks. He doesn't back up. And he stalked Gervonta Davis. And to watch Gervonta Davis evade his punches the way that he did was very impressive to me because I never saw him do that before. I saw him be willing to take punches in order to catch somebody, and he'd take them out that way. I didn't see a guy that was evasive. I saw that against Isaac. And I said, you know something? Gervonta Davis can box a hell of a lot better than I thought. But Ryan Garcia is longer, is taller, has a tremendous jab, tremendous hook, and tremendous speed. It can go either way. But if Gervonta catches him, it's lights out.
Now, I agree with you. What you just said, more importantly, about Gervonta at the end there, Stephen, where he's a complete fighter. He's not just a puncher. That guy can box. That guy, he could go get you. He could counter. His defense is responsible.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows what the hell he's doing inside that squared circle.
Correct.
And I would agree with you. It's kind of the fight where there's no margin for error with Garcia. Garcia would have to fight as close to a perfect fight as possible to win that fight, where I could see Tank making some mistakes and possibly overcoming it. But for me, Garcia would have to control the outside, would have to really make him pay to get in, charge him punches for real estate. Instead of $10 for a foot of land, charge him 3 punches for a foot of land. And he would have to control that outside, that range, and could not afford to allow Tank Davis to get close enough to catch him.
Can I throw this analogy at you?
Yeah.
Thinking about what you just described.
Yeah.
Think about what you just described. You know what I see that as, and I compare that to your description, that is.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Hearns won. When Hearns stayed away, used the jab, messed up that retina, damaged him, but couldn't stay away in the end when Sugar Ray finally caught him, hurt him, not just with headshots, but with body shots, and ultimately finished him in like the 14th round.
Yeah, you still have 15-round fights.
You still have 15 rounds.
He would have ran out of time today.
That's right.
Today he would have ran out of time.
He would have ran out of time today, but not then. And what I'm saying is, Sugar Ray, when Angelo Dundee said, "You're losing it, baby, you're losing it," and
you're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it, kid.
You're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it, kid. And Sugar stalked him. I'm saying that Tank, if Ryan Garcia has a chance, it's to fight like Hearns fought in that fight and stay away from Gervonta Davis, because Gervonta Davis at some point is going to stalk him, because he's that kind of fighter where he's willing to take a chance or get knocked out to come get you. He's willing to do it. It's a kind of fight.
No, listen, I'm 100%. I agree with you. I don't agree with you that often, but I agree with you here, where it's the kind of fight where Ryan Garcia has to put his ego in his pocket. He can't be out there proving anything. Like I can punch too. I got this left hook, this guy, which he does. He has a beautiful kind of left hook. I can crack too. I can do. No, forget all that. You better show how you can box and how consistent you can box, and you can own the outside of that ring all night long.
And you also listen. He was in Floyd Money Mayweather's camp for years. He's got to use the skills that Floyd Money Mayweather used against Diego Corrales. That's what he's got to use. I'm talking about Gervonta.
He took him apart. Floyd took him apart.
He took him apart, and that's what Gervonta. Because but that's only if Ryan comes at him the way Diego Corrales came at Floyd, because Floyd wasn't known as a puncher. The difference is Gervonta is known as a puncher, so Ryan Garcia should be smart enough, wise enough to keep his distance and stay away.